different ways of saying that someone is being faithful to God. Faith is a tangible response to a spiritual reality. Faith deals with an unseen reality. Faith is expressed collectively through the body of Christ, but individually by each of us through our obedience to God's plan for our life. The best way to see God's plan for your life is to walk close with God. That means leaning into prayer, studying the Word, and then listening to the things that God puts on your heart. Noah is one of the best examples of being obedient to God's plan of any of the stories in the Bible. Noah expressed his faith by making preparation based on what God told him was going to happen. How many times have we started projects that God put on our hearts, our God projects that we didn't see through? How many half-built arks do you have sitting in the backyard of your spiritual life? Noah's God project took him 100 years to complete. Think about that. Noah's faith was exercised and no doubt tested over that 100 years he built the ark. He had to go through struggle and some turmoil to complete his task. Can you imagine building an ark back then? There was no Home Depot. If you wanted a hammer, you had to build your hammer. A lot of us wouldn't even make it past that. God, it just wasn't meant to be. I don't have a hammer, I'm sorry. What if Noah would have done that? He would have changed the face of our history in a big way. God was building a way, not a boat. He was using the boat to deliver his servant from what he couldn't see. And by he, Noah couldn't see the flood coming with his physical eyes. He had to act on faith that God was going to keep his word, and he was definitely going to make it rain. And that's why he made the boat, based on what God told him to do, and he was obedient in that, and he followed it faithfully. God gave Noah direction and vision to prepare for things that he couldn't see. When we follow God's plan for our life, God takes care of the stuff that we can't see on the horizon. The stuff ahead of time that we have no control over, God can handle before it ever happens. But for him to do that, we have to be on the right path and follow his direction and walk in faith. Noah built the ark like it was a foregone conclusion. And that's the way we need to respond to God's will in our lives. We have to act like it's already done. We have to walk in that faith and prepare for the things that God set before us. In the story of Noah, when the rains came, it became very, very apparent that his faithfulness and his diligence was going to pay off. The people who chose to build the boat with him, the people who shared his vision and walked faithfully alongside Noah were saved from the flood. And that's what you got to look at your life as. Are you going to follow God's plan? Are you going to follow his direction? Because when he sends that flood and that thing in your life, are you going to be ready for it? Will you have followed his commands? Would you have listened to him? Would you have heeded his word? Or would you have left the boat half built in your backyard? Think about it, guys. Sometimes we need to go back and finish those projects, those God projects we've got in our spiritual backyard. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the message I brought to you today. Follow me on Instagram at JCA1176. You can donate to the production of this kind of stuff on my Patreon page at www.patreon.com. It's under Jason Christian. If you want some more content like this, subscribe and like the video. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you next time.